Chapter 24, Sectum Sempra. So Harry is telling Ron and Hermione in class, he's letting them know all that he went over with Dumbledore the next morning. So I don't even know how he's up after he was probably up all night with Dumbledore, but he's telling them all what happened, and then Ron is just like, wow, wow. Ron is just taken aback because obviously Dumbledore said he's going to take him with him when he when he finds the next Horcrux, he's going to take Harry with him. And even Hermione is like, wow, that's crazy. Like all the stuff that they went over, the Horcruxes and everything, Voldemort's, and his split of his soul, or I guess pieces of his soul that he split. And Hermione also, well, actually, Ron um, and Lavender had split up. So she was looking all distraught in the class because she was in the class as well. And she had seen Ron and Hermione together often. But Harry was there, but he was just cloaked. So she didn't know he was there. And then Hermione also lets Harry know that Ginny and Dean broke up. And this gets a reaction out of Harry. Harry was like, hold on. Um, and Harry has noticed that Hermione's been looking at him differently every time he's mentioned, every time that Ginny has come up. Like, Hermione can definitely tell that Harry has a thing for Ginny. And at this moment here, when Harry finds that out, all he can think about is Ginny. Like, he's like going back and forth, like, Ginny's free, she's single, but she's like, he's Ron's sister, or she's Ron's sister. And he keeps going back and forth in his head as they're walking back to the Gryffindor Hall. That's Ron's sister, but maybe he won't care. He's going back and forth in his head. And there's a Quidditch match coming up as well. So now, as they get back in Gryffindor Hall, Katie Bell, she's back from the hospital. So now they have the full team back. And so Ron can take Cormac's spot back, and then Katie can take Dean's spot. And so they're getting ready for the match. They asked Katie if she remembers anything. She doesn't remember anything from the moment, so that means she was cursed probably. And Harry's assuming probably Crabbe or Goyle, disguised as a girl, did it and tried to make her grab the necklace, which didn't work. Well, not work to how they wanted it to. And as Harry is trying to also figure out a way to get into the room requirements, and he was thinking about taking the potion to give himself some luck to try to get in there. And Hermione's like, no, you shouldn't do it. You should just wait. Leave that potion for something else you might need. Maybe you might need it for, I think Ron mentioned it. Maybe you might need it for when you go with Dumbledore to destroy the next Horcrux. And Harry really wanted to use it. Like, the temptation to use the potion was growing, and he almost did use it, but he just wanted to see if he could figure out a way with that. And he looked at how to make more possibly, and it takes about 6 months to make another batch, and that's not enough time. And then he remembered the spell that he marked off, Sectum Sempora, Sectum Sempra, and but he couldn't practice it because he didn't want to do it by Hermione, and so he wanted to maybe use it on Cormac, maybe when he finds him alone. Good thing he didn't. So all that was in his head was just the pressure of the Quidditch match, and also the pressure to ask out Ginny before someone else asks her out, because she's very popular, and him and Ron were talking about it, and she's very popular, I guess too popular for her own good. And so he's thinking about that, and he also keeps checking the Marauders map to see what Malfoy's up to. Like, he hasn't seen Malfoy a lot on the map, and he's just assuming he's spending a lot of time in the room. And then he does spot Malfoy in the bathroom on the floor below, because he's still trying to get into the room requirement, and he spots Malfoy down there, and Malfoy's with Myrtle. Now, you remember Myrtle said there was a boy that was always coming to the bathroom to talk to her, and that boy was usually crying. So Harry did go down there, and um, he did see Malfoy crying. Malfoy was in there talking to Myrtle. She was trying to console him, and he was saying like, um, "I don't think I can do it. I can't do it. It's not working." And he said, "If I don't do this, he's gonna kill me." That's what Malfoy said. And Malfoy's crying, and Harry was like, he's never really seen Malfoy like this low and this emotional. And then Harry walks up a little closer. Malfoy spots him in the mirror, immediately whips out his wand, and fires a spell at Harry. Harry blocks it, and then they go back and forth. And then it looks like Malfoy's got the upper hand at the moment, and he was going to yell, he was going to curse Harry. I think he was about to say Crucius, the Crucius curse. And at this point, Harry used the new spell that he did not know what it did, Sectum Sempra. And at this moment, it just caused Malfoy to bleed from his face, and it was like, at this point, Harry thought he killed him. And take Harry aback, and so Myrtle is screaming, and in runs Snape. Snape runs in, there's a counter curse, and heals Malfoy. I guess patches up Malfoy for a little bit, and then sends Malfoy off to the infirmary. And then he says, "Harry, you stay here." So he takes Malfoy up. 10 minutes later, he comes back and says, basically, just gives him detention. He doesn't really say like you could have killed him or anything. He just says detention Saturday morning, or multiple detentions Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And then Harry remembers the Quidditch matches on Saturday, and he's like, "But Professor," and Snape does not care. So he has to tell his team, after they've been practicing very good, team is looking very good. He has to tell them that he's not going to be at the match, and obviously they're sad. But the Snape also says, "Bring me your books," because he asked him like, where did he learn that spell? And so he runs off, and without any explanation, tells Ron to give him his potions book, and because he knows he's gonna get in trouble for having that book. So then he takes his book, the Half-Blood Prince's book, runs off the room requirement, thinks about really hard, I need a place to hide this book. Goes in there, and it was like a big, like a lot, kind of lost and found. It's like huge, lost and found. The room is just huge. Like Harry's never seen the room this big. And there's a bunch of stuff, discarded things, books, wardrobes, all that. So he goes and hides the book in this big wardrobe, or shelf. I think wardrobe. And there's a bird cage in there, and there was like a dead bird bones in there. He didn't really think about it too much. Then he put the book behind there and closed it, and then ran out and then gave Snape Ron's book, and it had Ron's nickname in there as well. And he's like, "Is this your book?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's just my nickname." And Snape takes it and gives him detention, obviously. And he goes to detention. He tells everybody what's going on. And then as they're talking, Hermione obviously goes after Harry about the book and using that dangerous spell. Obviously, she didn't want him to get hurt. But and Ginny was there too. It was just her, Ron, Hermione, and Ginny. And she stuck up for Harry. She's like, Harry could have been hurt. He had to do something. And they were yelling at each other a little bit. And then Harry had to go off to detention and just like organize some things, some stuff. But then he kept looking out at the time, and the Quidditch match was over by the time he was done. So he ran off to Gryffindor Hall, and they won. And Gryffindor had won the Quidditch Cup because they needed to win by 300 points just to secure it. And they won, and in all the emotion, everything, Harry goes on and kisses Ginny. She runs and hugs him, and he kisses her. And everyone is quiet for a second. Dean breaks his cup in his hand, and then the girl, Romilda, that likes Harry, obviously looks like she's about to cry. And then he looks at Ron looks at him, he looks at Ron's like, okay. And Harry takes Ginny off, and they go for a walk.